Recording this video after close trade Thursday, 30th of April 2015. Well, everywhere I go today, looking at my news feeds, everybody's talking about the drop in the US dollar and the bump in the pound and the euro. It's like, where have you people been? This has been happening for a month. I will remind you of this post on Emini-Watch back on the 1st of April, the spawn of the devil signal, where I talked exactly about we were going to have a change in the US dollar and all these currencies were going to bounce, and that's exactly what's happened. But anyway, it's not until the end of the month that the news feeds kind of seem to pick it up, just as we're hitting daily resistances on all of these charts. So let's just go through this again just really quickly. British pound, here we go. It was this big blue professional bar. We had all these pullback to end of trends, dirty end of trend, flush patterns kind of going on here. I was saying look for that break above 150. Well, we've got that. Break came up to 155, and now is where we got the blue professional bars coming in, daily resistance just come in here, bang, and an exhaustion pattern. So it's just as the news feeds kind of pick it up and say, ooh, look, the US dollar is kind of, crashing, get into euro, pound, blah, blah, blah. That's when we're hitting resistance. And I think what's going to happen is we're actually going to get a little bit of softening in the pound, just as all the retail kind of people kind of rush in because of this daily resistance that's coming, and we've kind of come out with an exhaustion pattern. We're just going to slow down a little bit here. So some professionals kind of using that activity just to take profits. But I think it's just going to be temporary, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to overshoot this resistance level till we get to resistance on the weekly chart, and that for me is kind of the more important kind of move. So there will be continuation of this trend, but I just think we're going to have a little bit of softening in that, just because all the news kind of coming and we've got these daily resistance patterns coming along. So that's the pound. The Japanese yen, actually we didn't get a decent break here. It's been kind of the weakest of the lot. Big blue professional bar, spiky bar. Let's wait and see whether to break the highs or the lows of this. I mean, I would have thought we would break in the highs because the dollar is kind of weakening, but it's going to take a little bit of time to work through that. Here's the dollar index. So here we go, dollar index kind of crashing down. We've got exhaustion patterns that'll go off in the next couple of days. We've got blue professional bars, and we'll have cyclical support on the daily chart here. And I just think that'll hold us up for just temporarily, just a little bit of time, and then we'll kind of work through that and hit the resistance or the support levels on the weekly charts. Aussie dollar, here we go. So the Aussie dollar up to 80 cents. That was the break through resistance on this chart here. Exhaustion buy kind of going on, whole bunch of blue professional bars. Again, still think we're in an uptrend here. This thing will not start to roll around until we get exhaustion and then bearish divergence. You're looking for the bearish divergence. That shows that there's a weakening of the buying going on in these currencies, and that's when we'll kind of roll over. Euro, same deal. We're going to hit daily resistance at some point on the euro chart. Blue professional bars kind of going up. Again, this reading is pretty high at the moment here. So just seeing a little bit of softening in these. Canadian dollar, we've had the bearish divergence pattern kind of come in here, but I don't know, it's going to go with all the other kind of currencies, so I think that's still kind of happening. So look for this just to maybe weaken for a few days, then kind of get through that resistance level, that daily resistance level, and it's only when we see the bearish divergence comes in that we should start to worry that this trend is kind of has run its course, kind of going to go the other way. But I'll link back to Spawn of the Devil because it was a bloody classic, and I did lay it out saying that the dollar index had kind of run its course on the upside, and we were likely to see the currencies kind of flip the other way, and it's happened this month. So that's just a recap on the currencies. What a good day today. Kind of breakdown on the above the 2090 level. 2090 was absolutely key. But I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, the 13,500 tip bar chart. How do we know, and this kind of is similar to the last video, how do we know that we're in an uptrend or a downtrend, particularly when we're in a congestion zone like this? We had a sell-off a few days ago with exhaustion sell kind of going on here, and we're in this kind of zone here where we can't kind of make up our mind. 2100 was an absolute key, and we were kind of oscillating around that level. But how do you know that we're actually in a stealthy decline, in a downtrend? And it's because the blue professional bars come in at the highs and not the lows. Remember, the ones at the end of the day are really tricky, and I might just switch on the end of day indicators here. Just give me a second. So here we go. I just clean up my 13,500 tip bar chart, and I don't put the kind of close a day vertical dotted lines. I just use the open ones. But anyway, if you put on the open and the close, you can see this is the close and the open, close and the open, close and the open. Because there's so much high average trade stuff that goes off at the end of the day, sometimes those blue professional bars are difficult to interpret here. But we knew that this one yesterday was happening on a high not near the end of day, and it was coming in at a cyclical resistance. We bounce off cyclical resistance. At that point we had Rambo patterns up here. That is showing us that we're in a downtrend because they were not picking it up at the lows. This is the amateurs getting wrong-footed, going short too early at a break of kind of 95. They come back up, and that's when the blue professional bars, the professional traders, come in, not at the end of the day, but kind of coming up at a cyclical point that they're interested in getting short at, and that's the clue that we're in a downtrend. And then we go today, pull back, end of trend, and then the blue professional bars kind of come in. So again, midday they picked it up a little bit here at 85 on that initial short, and then as soon as we bounced off support becomes resistance. It's a pullback in a downtrend, cyclical resistance, and we kind of fall off. There's the blue professional bars coming in at 95 again, and we drop off, and they are at the end of the day picking it up here down in the 70s. So that's the critical bar here. That's how we know when we're sitting around this 2100 level that we're likely to drop into a downtrend, that we're actually weak at that point. We bounce off resistance, blue professional bar kind of comes in at the highs, we drop through the lows of that, and then the sequence is played out with a drop through support and pullback end of trend move here. So we've got exhaustion sell at this point down here. They've kind of picked it up at the lows and so on. And you can also see that activity on the 4500 tip bar chart here. So there we go. There's that blue professional bar that's critical there. That one on the highs there towards the close. But that's the real kind of signal, and we've had this exhaustion sell. Now, so where are we? We definitely today, we found an exhaustion point. We bounced off that exhaustion point. We might have a little bit of follow through from that bounce tomorrow. But what I'm looking at on my chart suggests that we're still weak, that we've still got to go complete this move on the downside. 2090 was absolutely key. It was support on the 40,500 tip bar chart. If I show you this on the 45-minute chart, the 135-minute chart, here it is. Here's support. Support 2090, bang on the 45-minute chart yesterday. Yesterday again, 2090 support on the 135-minute chart, and it was also support here on the 40,500 tip bar chart. So an absolutely key level, 2090. So as soon as we're through that, we're now into a downtrend that we've got to complete. We've got to go pull back to end of trend. I know we've had exhaustion sell on the downside here in blue professional bars, kind of picking it up at the low 70s, but this thing has got to go pull back end of trend and put in a bullish divergence pattern here. And similarly, just as I say, the 40,000 and the 45-minute chart is very similar. Same deal. We're through support. We've got to go pull back end of trend. We've got to put in a bullish divergence pattern there after our exhaustion sell and so on, and this has got to play itself out. A trend move on this low time frame needs to sync up with a cyclical move on the highest time frame. So on the daily chart here, when that end of trend goes off on the 45-minute chart, syncing up with cyclical support on the daily chart will be key. And for that, what we need is better sine wave to loop around, cross, and that's when the daily support will kind of come in. So it's going to be interesting trading over the next couple of days. So we got, Friday into the weekend. I don't think that's kind of good enough in order to, timing-wise, put this in. I think we'll get a little bit of maybe follow through some weakness on Friday and into Monday, and then around, kind of the early part of next week, putting in that support level, that pullback end of trend on the 45-minute chart and so on. But for the time being, we've run pretty hard here in terms of sell-off and activity. I think it was 1.7 million contracts traded today, which was pretty huge. So not sure about tomorrow how that's going to play out, but we have to put in our pullback to end of trends on these time frames, so look for that. In terms of my trading, I was done before the open, which was really nice, and for a decent trade, which is kind of unusual. So just show you on the 1500 tip bar chart the way the day played out. This is the close on Wednesday, and this is the open on Thursday. Now, because I'm in the Sydney time zone, I can look at the European kind of markets as they're opening up and see if there's an opportunity there. which means I can forego trading. I mean, today was a nice day in terms of range and so on, but for me it's, you know, trading around midnight, and it is tough, particularly because I'm getting to be an old man. But anyway, this was the setup for a nice kind of sell signal here. We had a whole bunch of blue professional bars coming in, particularly on the 500 tip bar chart, and a little sequence on the 1500 tip bar chart up here. We initially had a break above the high of that little sequence there, and so I was initially long at 98.50, got out with 1.5 point loss, but then it started to break down really nicely at 96.5. So I was short 96.5 through support here. We came back up to test the tie of that blue professional bar. Another blue professional bar kind of came and we sold it down. We know the professionals were selling it down here because the next bar we're breaking through the lows, and we kind of keep going. So short at 96.50, out at 90.50 because the 90 level was so key. Plus I pushed out my target by a couple of points. So picked up 6 on the way down there, which made up for that 1.5 point loss on the first try, but that was a nice one. But 90 was absolutely key, and so when the market opened here, Rambo patterns on 1500, remember, they're really significant. Here's the first one. We come off that. The amateurs thinking, oh, we're breaking above, you know, to 2100 and away. No, they get wrong-footed. We go the other way, and here's them on the other side of the move, down at 84s, Rambo pattern right down here. Sorry guys, no, wrong again. Pullback, end of trend. We've had our exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. We have some bottoming patterns here, and then we rally back up, but we rallied back up to, you know, the same point that we had before. And what do you know, just behind here, a Rambo pattern on 1500. Oh, those poor amateurs on those Rambo extensions. Anyway, just, you know, if you find yourself buying that breakout thinking, oh, we're going to break to new highs, it's an up day now, we've had our reversal and so on, and you have blue professional bars coming immediately afterwards, and then we break the lows of that, just jump out. Just jump out. You know that that's not going to work out well. You know, here's the blue professional bars at the test of the Rambo patterns here. They step in, bang, and we're away. Anyway, so this thing kind of plays off quite nicely. We come back to this kind of breakdown at the end of the day. Whole bunch of blue professional bars selling that. Now that support level had been kind of key throughout the day here. You can see that. We bounced off that kind of 84 level time and again during the day, so it's been absolutely key. But then this time, they're like, no, we're in a downtrend today. Blue professional bars, bang, 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 sell it down. There's our exhaustion sell. Gets this thing kind of moving, and then pull back to end of trend with more Rambo patterns right at the bottom at the end of the day, and we have a little bit of a taking profits kind of move here. But again, this sequence selling down through that 84 level, that support level, that's falling through the ice, and you know they're selling down at that point because we don't come up close to, you know, we have a little bit of play back up at this point here, but we're breaking through the lows, bang, 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 and that blue professional bar on the retrace there. I mean, all of this kind of moves back up. They're coming back into that blue professional bars, but we're not going through the highs. We're just going through the lows. So that's falling through the ice, and then we get this thing kind of ended off with a pullback to end of trend. So it was nice on the 1500 tip bar chart. There was some, you know, kind of, I mean, what did we end up down in the 70s? Holy hell. It was a big day today, but, you know, I felt good with my trade kind of in the early hours. So, yeah, don't know about tomorrow. I mean, we had quite a big kind of sell-off today, so we might just test back up. But I do think we've got to make, on these highest time frame tip bar charts, pull back to end of trend before this is all over. Anyway, hope your trading is going well. Okay, just gone short 96.50, short 96.50. Just checking stops and targets. So just earlier on we had kind of a break above this kind of consolidation pattern in the professionals, blue professional bars here before the European Opens. Kind of initially broke up 2100, that then got rejected. So looks like the weakness, we're now below this kind of sequence of blue professional bars, and a drop below 96 will take us into a trend move on the 1500 tip bar chart. We'll have a little cyclical support kind of put in at some point on 500, but they're going to be close together, so we're going to get breaks of support into a strong kind of downtrend there. European markets just kind of opening up. Let me just check the time in London. Yeah, 8:16, so a little bit kind of before the opens in London, but you know, Germans I think open a little bit earlier. So yeah, yesterday this is a really important level up here, 21.06 levels on the 13,500 tip bar chart. Blue professional bars kind of came in there as well. We're finding resistance there, kind of double topping all these blue professional bars. So we've got weakness at some point on the 1500. We've got to go kind of exhaustion kind of sell. So we're just bouncing to 97. That's pretty strong bounce. Anyway, support will come in, so I'm waiting for that break of 96. Alright, we just broke down really hard. Liquidity isn't quite there in the overnight markets, so that's why it's kind of not gapped down, but moved strongly down to 94s. So in short, 6.5, 96.5. Blue professional bar came in here, and then we were breaking the lows of that, which is good, and it was actually a blue professional bar here on 1500. And now another blue professional bar. Ooh, I'm going to have to think about moving my target out from 2.5. Is selling down, so let's go do that. Alright, finally I've just been sitting through this retrace, push back up to 97s, but then the blue professional bar comes in a resistance and we sell down immediately, bang bang bang, so that's all kind of good. So we're through supports, it's a triple, well, that's a resistance kind of come in, but we're through supports on 1500 and 4500, and 93 is kind of in play. So I've moved my target out to 90.50. Let's just see where it goes. I mean, it is pre-open, kind of after hours type stuff. And normally I kind of pull in my targets rather than push them out. But anyway, let's just see what happens next. Breakthrough 93 will be interesting. Alright, the original target 92.50 just got hit. Moved my target out to 90.50. Got kind of exhaustion type readings, just had a little bit of a bounce there. Blue professional down bar. So we're going to have cyclical support as well. Don't like that particularly. Let's just see. That was pretty weak. Let's see if we kind of continue through the lows. Bingo, just out at 90.50. Excellent. That was for 6, and that's a pre-open trade, which is very unusual. So nice. Got to bear in mind I had a 1.5 point loss on that first trade, whereas trying to go long on this breakout here ended up being a false breakout, and lost 1.5 kind of here. But anyway, this was a nice kind of workout. Got an exhaustion, sells, kind of gone through support. Who knows where it's going to go for now. The 90 level is absolutely key, particularly on like the 45-minute charts and all of those. So that's kind of interesting as a level. So whether it holds, whether we drop through it, and it could be nasty. But anyway, that's me done. What is it? 3:16 a.m. Chicago time. So and what is it? London time. It is 9:16 a.m. Kind of London time. So good.